Chad's feeling better, but we still didn't want him to put him into practice, so he just did some work in the gym, but he was able to hold food down the last 24 hours, so that's good. And I think he only lost 5 pounds, so he's got some. Yeah, Lamar went through the whole practice as he was making progress over the weekend as well, and he was able to go through all the practice today, and he said he had no issues. We'll check tomorrow, but he seemed to be okay.
What are the options if Chad and Djimi can't go?
Well, obviously there's Annie Baba, and, there's Zach Scott. You saw we played Evans there for a little bit. He's an option with the reserve team. On Monday, we played Andy Rose and Dylan Remick in the middle of the back, and they both played very well. They were matched up with, I think, Finley and Olmos Garcia came in the second half, so they had a couple of good forwards to play against, and they held their own in that one. So, I think we have options.
Andy and Dylan have both played center back, I think, the last 2 reserve games. Is that just a issue with bodies, or are you actually looking at them potentially as being able to play center back?
Well, it was a little bit out of necessity, because of the situation. We didn't want Djimi to play on the turf here, the one game, so we're short center backs, but obviously being short center backs, getting them the experience there makes sense, especially what we're facing right now.
When a player makes sort of an epic, high-profile mistake, like, let's say, Stefan this past weekend, where that he knows better, do you just leave him alone, or do you need to address it even though he knows he messed up?
We, after the game, we talked about it in the locker room as a team, and, and I've met with Stefan individually as well, and we've talked about it. It's always difficult. Defensive positions are, difficult in the sense that you can play, 99% of the game great, and that one little error, all of a sudden it's a goal and you look bad. And, as a forward, you can play 99% of the game badly and miss chances, and you score in that key moment at the end of the game, and you're the hero. So it's a whole different dynamic. Psychologically, it's a much tougher position to be in a certain extent. But it's a situation. I think again, Steph, after the error, came back, made a great save on Mane. Made a great save on Kofi. The shot right at the end of the game where he went to his right, where the referee let the game go on. That was another big save. So, the one thing he's shown in the 2 games where he's made an error is he's shown the character to stay focused and come up with some big saves. So you gotta give him a positive mark for that as well.
Is it kind of the same with Marco? I think it's kind of the second time that he's sort of made a memorably bad pass that led to a goal.
Yeah, this one was a little less implicating than the last one, But again, the guys know, that those goals were goals that we could have done better on. Even the first goal, we had them pinned. We could have kept pressure on the ball. We didn't. We backed off. We had an easy pass forward. Instead, we tried to play it back. Gets intercepted. Then, we've got the guy. The play that he scored on was very similar to the play where Brad blocks the shot of Hurtado, and it was basically the same play. It was a 2v1 in the box, and Hurtado made the same move. So one time we did well with it, and the other time we didn't do well with it. So, it invariably happens. But it's just important for us to continue to go. We came back. We continue to believe in ourselves, our abilities to rectify the situation, and we've got a big game on Saturday.
How do you assess Stefan's performance overall? Not necessarily just in the game, but this season.
He's the starting goalkeeper right now for the team that has the most points in the league.
He'll be your starter then on Saturday?
He's a starting goalkeeper for the team with the most points in the league through our first 12 games right now. Or what do we have, 13 games? Yeah.
There are fans, though, that when they see a mistake like that, even if Frei makes 20 saves afterwards, they're going to say, you need to change him. I don't know. How do
Something
you
we'll evaluate, and there's constantly competition in that position. Our other goalkeepers had a chance to play yesterday in the reserve game. Tommy and me are looking at that and talking about that, and we'll see how we go forward. We've got 2 more games before the break, and we'll see what we do in those 2 games.
You have the most points in the league, but are you a little bit concerned about the defense and how many goals the team's given up?
You're always concerned with that, and we'd like to give up less goals for sure, but we've also scored the most goals in the league. So we're going to emphasize the positive side of it, that we've scored more goals than anybody else. And hopefully we can continue to do that and shore up what we need to shore up defensively.
It seemed like in a lot of ways the game against Vancouver was maybe showing some lessons possibly learned from the Revolution game, just in that you were able to withstand some of the similar situations that you were in. Would you say that was accurate, or would you say you're not happy maybe with the level of lesson learning?
I mean, obviously they're a team that's very fast, very young, it's very direct, and I thought at times we held up to that fairly well, and there's some good scenes of us doing some good defending with that. I think they ran through our midfield a little bit. That was a little concerning to me. But that's something we'll work on, and that's something we'll get better with. Stats are deceiving. So somebody hits a shot from 30, it goes over the goal, it counts as a shot on goal. The chance that we had, as an example, where Papa came in the first half and hits that ball across the 6, is that as good a chance as the shot from 30 that goes over the goal? But statistically, you get a goose egg for that chance. Nothing shows. So they had one shot, you guys had none. Where that chance was as good as anything, or the one where Oba sort of gets tight into the corner and tries to pull the ball back. So there's different things like that. So we look at what are the chances we created. I was happy with the fact that they did dominate the game at the beginning of the game, and we didn't take any goals. Every team's going to have a period of the game where they're going to control it. You got to make sure you keep them off the board during that period, but then you're unhappy with certain other things. But overall, when I look at the team right now and how we've done through these first 13 games, there's more things to be happy about than to be displeased about.
We've seen this storyline before, but 1 versus 2, you guys against Salt Lake at CenturyLink Field. What's that like this week?
I think it's great. I think these are the games that players look to play in. These are games that you want to be involved in a season, and so it's a big game. We're at home, we're in front of our fans. That's always exciting for us, and it's a chance for us to retain our position at the top of the table, and that's what we want to do.
You may have how Cam Weaver's kind of handled his role, and then kind of answering, I guess, the call when he kind of does get those rare minutes with the first team on Sunday.
Yeah, Cam's an experienced pro, and he's a good pro. And we had a very clear talk when we signed him. He knew what his role would be, and he knew sometimes it would be frustrating, and sometimes there'd be opportunities there. And he's helped us. He helped us in Montreal. When we won that game on the road, and obviously he helped us by drawing the PK in this game. And it's tough to jump when a defender has his hands on your shoulders. So it's like. But for him, he's always ready to play. He's always ready when you call upon him. He's just a good pro who obviously cares a lot about his hometown as well. And that makes him extra proud to get on the field and play.
Similarly, Chad Barrett, how do you think he's handled a relatively diminished role in at least the context of his career?
Well, in the last few years, I think it's similar to the role he's had the last couple of years. But, Chad has stepped in and done some good things for us, starting with the goal against Kansas City, the assist he had against Dallas, the goal in this game, the first goal, and he's done well, and he's taken his opportunities well. As long as he continues to do that, he's going to get opportunities to get out there and play, and those minutes will grow. And, so I was pleased with what he did. I thought it was a good goal, and we'll see how we walk out this weekend.
You mentioned that he was kind of playing out of position. He kind of had the same thing to say, that he doesn't necessarily feel like a midfielder all the time. But are you reasonably pleased with how he looked as a midfielder?
Yeah, I was pleased with that. He's, like I said, he played in that position when he was younger, every so often. But obviously, over the last, 5-6 years, that really hasn't been the position that he's played. But, he sucked it up for the team. That's where we needed him to play in that particular game, and he went out there and he did well.
What did you make of a Panenka penalty kick in that situation?
If you can do it, you do it. It's like I say to people all the time. If you can pull off a bicycle, go ahead and do it. If you can't do it, don't try it. And it was certainly, I remember seeing it, and was your 76 when it was first scored, and I mean it was such a big thing at that time. You know, it was like wow. And Carlos Ruiz's first penalty kick for the Galaxy against Zach Thornton of Chicago, he did the same thing. And I told him at halftime, I said, be prepared for Zach to try and kill you in the second half. You know, luckily Pinedas came later in the game, so they really didn't have a chance. But it obviously shows confidence. You know, he's an experienced player, but you know, just like he said, you know, after the game, his first thing is to score the goal.
This will be your last home game for about a month and a half. Does that add any sort of importance to it?
We just want to keep winning at home. We've been winning at home. We want to keep winning at home.
Keep a close eye on the game tonight.
Yeah, watch it and see what's going on. You know, it's been obviously a lot of interesting news and everything else with the national team. But you know, now's the time you're rolling out. You know, the team. You're making your final decisions in terms of lineup, etc. And you hope that nobody gets injured. You know, because that's always a concern going into these last games.
All right. Thank you.